Hello, students. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Your English Teacher. Today, we are going to study the chapter On the Face of It, which is one of the textbook chapters of Vistas for class 12. And this chapter revolves around the friendship of an old man, Mr. Lamb, and Derry, a young teenage boy. Both of them suffer from some physical impairment, but both of them have contrasting approaches towards life. One is very optimistic, the other has a very pessimistic approach to life. The play dwells upon how Mr. Lamb is able to connect with Derry and change his perspective and makes him look at the positive aspects of life. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can start the chapter. On the Face of It is written by Susan Hill. She was born on the 5th of February in 1942 and is a prolific writer, the author of numerous novels, collection of short stories, non-fiction and children's fiction as well, and is also a respected reviewer, critic, broadcaster, and editor. She won a Somerset Maugham Award for the I Am the King of the Castle, the Whitbread Novel Award for The Bird of Night, and the Mail on the Sunday John Louis Rice Prize for the Albatross. And this was a collection of short stories. So, this chapter is going to talk about, as I said, all that matters in life is your perspective. And what does the title of the chapter kind of indicate? That what appears to be on the face of it, what apparently appears to be, what comes to the naked eye, is not necessarily what lies underneath. So we will look at these two characters, Derry and Mr. Lamb, and we'll see how Mr. Lamb is able to influence his thought process, Derry's thought process, and bring about a transformation in him. You never know, at times, one person may also bring out a big change in your life. So I expect you have read the whole play beforehand, and I'm just going to talk about the major points on every page. This video will take up a few starting pages, and then the next subsequent videos will cater to the rest of the pages. I am keeping the videos short because this is a feedback I have been getting from my students. So, before you read, you need to know, and as I've told you, this is a play featuring an old man and a small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. The old man strikes up a friendship with the boy, who is very withdrawn and defiant. What is the bond that unites the two? So, those who have read the chapter, I'll take a highlighter over here. So, over here, we'll find that this is scene one, where Mr. Lamb's garden, the gate to his garden is open. And Derry has entered the garden with an intention to be there alone. He did not want to meet anybody. He did not enter the garden with an intention to find companionship, but he went there because of the very reason that it was isolated. He is suddenly taken aback by Mr. Lamb, who suddenly shouts, "Mind the apples," because the apples might have fallen from the tree and there's a possibility he might trip over them and spoil them and also fall. So Derry is taken aback and he asks, "Oh God, who's that? Who's there?" And he introduces himself as Lamb. Mr. Lamb says that those are crab apples, and windfalls in the long grass means due to the wind, the apples have fallen down, and in the long grass, you may not be able to see them and you could trip. He says that I'll just get rid of this. Okay. So over here, he says that he didn't know that there was somebody in the garden and he did not expect somebody to be there as well. Otherwise, he would not have entered the garden. Coming to the next page, Mr. Lamb says it's okay even if he has entered the garden without his permission. But through the conversation, we get to see that Derry entered that garden because he actually didn't want to meet anybody. He thought it was an empty house. Mr. Lamb says it is an empty house because he was in the garden and the house would be occupied once he goes back in. But for the time being, he is enjoying it outside the garden. And he says that it's a beautiful day and therefore it's not a day to be indoors. Derry panics. I've got to go. Not on my account. Don't leave because I'm here. I don't mind anybody coming to the garden. The gate is always open. You only climbed the garden wall. So he said that you were looking at me. He said, I saw you. I was not watching you, but I saw you. And the gate is open. All are welcome. You're welcome. I sit here and I like sitting. Derry said, I didn't come to steal anything. So if you look at the conversation Derry is having, we can interpret that Derry looks at the negative aspect of life. He thinks that people are doubting him. He thinks that maybe Mr. Lamb believes that he has come with an intention to steal. He thinks that maybe he has been keeping an eye on him because he entered the garden not through the gate, but by jumping over the wall. So he is already on his defense mechanism has already begun. I just wanted to come in into the garden. And Mr. Lamb says, that's fine. He said, but you don't know who I am. He says, you're a boy and you're around 13. He said, no, I'm 14 and I have to go. So Mr. Lamb tries to continue to strike a conversation with him and he says, why are you being afraid? I'm just here. It's only me who is here and it's just a garden. And Derry says, it's not I who is afraid, it is people who are afraid of me. Now, this also speaks a lot. It's the people who are afraid of me. It means that he has some fear and he has some preconceived notions about how people react on seeing him. Mr. Lamb doesn't realize why. And he says, no matter what, whenever they look at me, they start pretending just like you are pretending. What is he pretending? Because still now, as a reader, I don't know what is he talking about. But Derry is one person who has a half burnt face. And he knows that when people look at him, they are scared. But Mr. Lamb says, I don't even know what you're talking about because genuinely, Mr. Lamb is not concerned about how he looks and it does not affect his conversation with Derry. So he says that Derry says that they start pretending as if they can't see. Can't see what? Can't see the face and get scared about it. But Derry says, I can see that they get scared. See what? I can see what they think. What do you think they think? You think, here's a boy, you look at me, and when you see my face and you think, that's bad, that's a terrible thing, that's the ugliest thing I ever saw. You think, poor boy, but I'm not poor. Underneath, you are afraid. Anybody would be. I am when I look into the mirror and see it. I am afraid of me. No, no, not the whole of you. Not the whole, not you. Yes, you are. So he is kind of refuting every kind of explanation or stand that Mr. Lamb is taking. Later on, when it's a bit cooler, I'll get the ladder. So what does Mr. Lamb do? He doesn't want to continue with this conversation, and he talks about what he's planning to do with the crab apples and what all he's going to make, what the jelly he's going to make from them. And then he talks about the oranges, and calls it a magic fruit. So he says that even they can be made into jelly. Now, when he starts talking about this, Derry says that I understand that you've changed the subject. That's what people do. Whenever they look at me, they pretend as if they don't get scared, and then they try to change the subject. And why don't you ask me? Because you are afraid to ask what? Why don't you ask me how I got this burnt face? So Mr. Lamb says, well, if you want me to ask, I'll ask you. So he said, I don't like being with people, Derry said. Mr. Lamb said that I should say, to look at it, I should say you got burned in a fire. Not in a fire. I got acid all down the side of my face, and it burned it all away. It ate my face up, and it ate me up. See, this is a 13, 14-year-old boy who is making such a big statement, a heavy statement, that the acid did not only burn his face, but it did not only eat up his face, it ate him up as well. That means it has affected his soul, it has taken away something that belonged to him. And this is a 14-year-old boy who is drastically affected by what has happened. And he says that now I have this kind of a face, it will always remain like this forever. Mr. Lamb says, no, that's not necessary. So Derry says, aren't you interested to know? He says, Mr. Lamb has a very different approach. He says that for me, you're just a boy who came to the garden, who wanted to be in the garden, and that's all. What happened to you? What was the reason? How do I feel? That does not interest me at all. He says, rubbish. Rubbish? What can you see there? He says, near the far wall. And he says, it is garbage that I see. And he says, why don't you look again? What do you see? He says, grass, stuff, weeds. He calls it weeds. But Mr. Lamb says, this is an important paragraph where he says that some call weeds, unwanted parts of the garden, but for me, they too are life. So he says, why is one green? That means and growing plant called a weed and the other a flower. What's the difference? It is life after all. So Mr. Lamb looks at the positive aspect, knows how to keep himself motivated. It is his perspective that carries him ahead. We do not know till now what physical ailment or disability he is suffering from. But what I told you at the beginning, Mr. Lamb has a tin leg. Okay, so he says it's the same you and me. So he's drawn an analogy between the weeds and plants and Derry and himself. But Derry says we're not the same. Mr. Lamb tries to say, you're old, I'm old, and you're young. You've got a burnt face, and I've got a tin leg. So that's not important. The point is, you are standing, and I can't even stand for a long time and I have to sit. So, where's the difference? So he said, why have you got a tin leg? Now, see, Mr. Lamb has been able to strike a conversation with Derry, which maybe many have not been able to do. So he gets him interested into knowing how did he get a tin leg. Now this is one aspect you need to remember, that he got a tin leg because it was blown off. And there are many children who also tease him by Lamy Lamb. And this is something that doesn't trouble him. He says it's okay, that's their way of treating me, it is fine. So he is not affected by it. Now, Derry is a child, we need to understand. He says that for you it is very easy, because what you'll do is you'll just cover it up by putting on your trousers and it won't be visible to others. People won't stare and notice and stare at it. So you can just go get away with it. But Mr. Lamb says some people do stare, and they get tired of it because I don't give any reaction. There are a number of things to stare at. He said, yeah, like my face. So, see how much negativity is filled in Derry as a child. We have to remember he's just a 14-year-old child, and he is full of so much trouble and sadness that he needs to speak out his mind to somebody who could understand him. And somehow, here, Mr. Lamb is definitely striking a conversation with Derry. So he says, yeah, there are a number of things to stare at, like my face. He said that in a very, very sarcastic manner. And then he says, no, there are things like crab apples. There's a silken ladder that is made, a web that is made by the spider, tall sunflowers. Then Daddy says, these are things. Remember, these are not people with souls and thoughts and heart. These are things you're talking about. So he says it's all relative. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is all relative, he says. What does that suppose to mean? You tell me. You needn't think that I haven't. Now, see here, Derry, I'll come to this line in a while. So, Derry says, I have heard the story of the Beauty and the Beast. And I've heard about things like handsome is that handsome does. I have heard all this. But the point is that somewhere, this does not ring a bell with me. So I'm ending the portion of the video over here, and I'll start the next video from this portion itself, that it's all relative, Beauty and the Beast. How is it relative? What is the reason? What is the further dialogue that they continue with? We'll talk about all that in the next video. So please stay tuned. Go and visit my YouTube channel again, Your English Teacher, and take a break, come back and visit the next video. Bye bye.